Thank you for joining us on Business Now. I am Omobolanle Adeshi. Governor Abubakar Sani-Bello of Niger State has signed into law the 2023 appropriation bill of over 243 billion naira. The budget was 5 billion naira above the 238 billion naira budget proposal presented to the State House of Assembly for consideration. The capital expenditure stood at over 152 billion naira, while recurrent expenditure is over 91 billion naira. Under the sectorial breakdown, administration had over 9 billion naira, economics got over 102 billion naira, law and justice had more than 1 billion naira, while the social sector gulped over 38 billion naira. Bello expressed optimism that the budget would be to the benefit of the people, irrespective of scarcity of resources. He said as the last budget under him, the incoming administration might make some changes or maintain the approved budget. The governor, however, expressed optimism that the 2023 budget, if implemented up to 90%, would bring about a better Niger State. Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Abdullahi Bawa, represented by member representing Chanchaga State Constituency, Alhaji Ahmad Marafa, presented the budget to the governor for assent. And the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, has issued a 7-day ultimatum for all lease and license holders operating in Nigeria's oil and gas sector to disclose the real owners of their companies. In the directive signed by its chief executive, Benga Komalafe, the commission demanded that the information to be disclosed must include the identity of the beneficial owner, the level of ownership, and details of how control is exerted. He stressed that the full list of real owners of their companies is submitted to the commission. The new directive released by NUPRC was tagged Notification Number 1 to all license and lease holders in Nigeria on the requirement for submission of beneficial ownership information. The move came on the heels of the recent release of a beneficiary ownership register by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative and the Corporate Affairs Commission. Komalafe had also recently hailed NAT's efforts in the promotion of an open and accountable system in the management of the extractive resources, explaining that NUPRC and NAT shared a common vision of transparency in Nigeria's energy sector. And governors of 28 states who are leaving office on May 29 or running for re-election and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory have piled up about 5.8 trillion naira subnational debt amid an economic crunch. The debt figures were based on an analysis of the subnational debt report by the Debt Management Office. Reports say out of the 28 states, 11 governors will be seeking re-election in March. The governors include Mohammed Yahaya of Gombe, Bagana Zulum, Borno, Abdullahi Sule, Nasarawa, Sheyi Makinde, Oyo, Maibuni, Yobe, Bello Matawale, and Zamfara. Others are Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos, Akpado Fintiri, Adamawa, Dakwa Abiodun, Ogun State, Bala Muhammad Bauchi, and Abdurrahman Abdurrazak of Kwara State, amongst others. The subnational debt are classified into domestic borrowings from local creditors and external borrowings from foreign or international creditors like the World Bank. The domestic and external debt published on the DMO's website were as of the September 30th and June 30th, 2022, respectively. According to the report, subnational domestic debt were about 4.38 trillion naira, while their external debt were about $3.15 billion or 1.42 trillion naira based on the exchange rate of the Central Bank of Nigeria of 449 naira 53 kobo to a dollar as of Thursday. The data further shows that Lagos has the highest debt with 877.04 billion naira domestic debt and $1.27 billion foreign debt. And to other stories now, the organized labor has faulted the over 3 trillion naira bailout granted to generation and distribution companies in the power sector by the federal government after they have been privatized. The National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE especially, criticized the government for injecting funds into companies owned by individuals without a commensurate increase in electricity generation and supply in the last 10 years. The Secretary General of the NUEE, Joe Ajero, made the criticism in Abuja on Thursday at a public hearing organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Power on a bill seeking to amend the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005. The chairman of the committee, Aliyu Magaji, had in his opening address noted that the public hearing was to address some concerns expressed by the Nigerian Governors Forum. In his presentation, Ajero pointed out that the privatization in the power sector had further compounded the economic woes, stressing that policy was designed to fail from the onset. According to him, Nigeria is still at the bottom of countries suffering from power poverty all over the world. He noted that the normal concept is 1 million people to 1,000 megawatts, and we have a country of 200 million people with 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Power, Godi Jediagba, declined to explain the recent backdoor increment of electricity tariff, stating that only the NERC can explain the hike. The Nigerian Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Kano confirmed that it had sealed not less than 134 filling stations for selling petroleum products above the regulatory price within the last 35 days. The Kano coordinator of NMDPRA, Aliyu Sama, disclosed that a surveillance operation also led to the closure of 14 new stations. He threatened to sanction the activities of some marketers in a bid to curtail the unwholesome practice. He said in December last year alone, the regulatory authority sealed off 120 filling stations for flouting regulatory rules. According to the coordinator, the regulatory agency has already invalidated the transaction deal of 16 marketers toward enforcing the sale of petroleum products at the stipulated price. Sama stated that for any station that refused to sell at the regulatory price, they invalidate their transactions, and so far 16 have been invalidated, which means they have lost bridging and equalization funds. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) said power distribution companies raked in about 296 billion naira as electricity bills from customers in the first quarter of 2022. In its just released first quarter 2022 report, the power sector regulator stated the collection efficiency of the discos was 67.36% during the quarter under review. This came as the Transmission Company of Nigeria announced on Thursday that it took delivery of two 150 MVA 331-3233 kV power transformers and accessories at its central store, Ojo, Lagos State. Explaining the collection efficiency of discos in the first quarter of 2022, the NEC said the total revenue collected by all discos in 2022 first quarter was 199.9 billion naira out of 295.69 billion naira billed to customers. On market remittance, the Commission said the combined invoices from the Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading PLC and the market operator to discos in first quarter of 2022 was 205.63 billion naira. It said the invoices were split as follows: generation costs 164.86 billion naira, transmission and administrative services 40.7 billion naira. And to other stories, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, has banned cash withdrawal for all federal and state accounts effective March 1, 2023. The body said the decision is in accordance with Nigeria's full transition into a cashless economy. NFIU Director General Modibo Tokoro, who disclosed this to journalists at a conference in Abuja on Thursday, said the agency will trigger investigation processes on any public office holder who engages in cash transactions after the end of February this year. He said the NFIU will collaborate with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, and the Nigeria Police Force, NPF, in investigating government officials that withdraw cash from public accounts. According to Modibo, the directive to go cashless will help to curb corruption in public offices as the country's money laundering laws as well as other anti-graft laws will be fully applied on erring government officials. The NFIU boss also noted that the decision is in accord with Nigeria's full transition into a cashless economy started by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Eco Electricity Distribution Company, EcoDisco, has said it has earmarked 18 billion naira for expenditure in 2023. Managing Director, CEO of the company, Tinuade Sanda, while reviewing the company's 2022 performance and projections for the new year, revealed the company would spend about 18 billion naira on capital projects, which aims at improving services across its network area. She said the company is planning to expand its engagement with independent power producers for embedded generation, as well as mini-grids for improved power supply. Some key aspects of the expenditure for the year will help in the opening of the transformer and equipment repair workshop, inauguration of the EKEDP Training Institute, recruitment of talent, and fencing of all distribution substations. The company is also targeting total revenue, or rather total annual billing and collection above 200 billion naira, as well as full settlement of electricity market invoices in line with NEC minimum remittance order. Other targets announced by the MD include enhanced profitability and declaring and payment of dividend to shareholders, zero fatality and injuries, rehabilitation of all frequent tripping feeders to guarantee uninterrupted power supply, amongst others. And in the oil and gas sector, proceeds of 17.8 MB, or rather million barrels crude oil exports remitted to the Federation account. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited said all crude oil transactions between 2016 to 2020 were sufficiently accounted for and proceeded, or rather the proceed duly remitted into the Federation account. Chief Corporate Communications Officer of NNPC Limited, Garbadin Muhammad, in a statement yesterday denied an online publication alleging that the company exported 17.8 million barrels of crude oil without proper documentation in 4 years from 2016 to 2020. According to Muhammad, the Auditor General's report and reference that mentioned 32 oil marketing companies involved in the non-completion of the NXP forms, but he however noted that it does not in any way mean that the proceeds from the sale of the said crude were not repatriated into the coffers of the NNPC and consequently into the Federation account. He also emphasized that the NNPC does not appoint inspection agents as alleged, but rather it is the sole responsibility of the Federal Ministry of Finance. A stakeholder in Nigeria's rice production sector has analyzed the challenges bedeviling the sector, leading to a further decline in production of the commodity. This follows a projection by the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, stating that Nigeria's rice production is estimated to fall by 7% in the marketing year beginning October through September 2023. The report also revealed that production is expected to decline to 7.8 million metric tons from 8.4 million tons between the same period.
The federal government should harmonize bring together all the major stakeholders, which include Federal Ministry of Agri, Rice Producers Association, Rice Farmers Associations, Farmers Associations, the CBN, the Rice Sellers Association of Nigeria. All these are major stakeholders. If they come together, realistically passion out a comprehensive program without any interest, without bias, certainly we will be able to achieve whatever the government wants us to achieve, and Nigerian populace will be provided with high quality parboiled rice. But the only unfortunate thing is, government policies do somersaults, and that is mostly what is causing problem in some of the government programs. If there is a gap, like you said earlier, and the government wants to bridge the gap, it cannot be by opening or tactfully opening borders, so to say. You understand? It should be done by coming together, bringing together all the stakeholders. How do we address the issue? And the Rice Producers Association of Nigeria has a comprehensive plan. All they need is let's join others so that we share ideas. This is we processors. This is our stand. This is our position. This is what we'll be able to do